Ho 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 and welcome back everybody. Today we're going to be playing Simic Ritual featuring Wan Shi Tong. We've played this deck a few times on the channel already, but this time instead of Fibblethorpe we're going to be trying Wan Shi Tong to see how it feels in the build. Just in case you haven't seen the deck before, the whole purpose of this deck is we are built around Birthing Ritual. So at the beginning of your end step, if you control a creature, you look at top 7, you can sacrifice a creature, and if you do, you can put a creature card from among those that you revealed or looked at with converted mana cost X or 1 onto the battlefield. So the idea is you play Ice-Fang Coatl, Coiling Oracle, Wan Shi Tong, something like that, and then you sack it to Birthing Ritual after you already got your value out of it and get something like Abhorrent Oculus or Harbinger of the Seas as this big threat that's supposed to intimidate your opponent. So Abhorrent Oculus, very strong 5/5 manifest at the beginning of each of your opponent's upkeep, so it's a 5/5 that's going to make a 2/2 every turn. Those 2/2s can flip into other things that can then be sacked to Birthing Ritual. You're just getting a ton of value off the Birthing Ritual, even if you don't flip one of these, like sacking an Ice-Fang Coatl for another Ice-Fang Coatl to just draw more cards. If you're not at least drawing a card off Birthing Ritual every single turn, you're doing it wrong. Then we're playing a pretty good suite of free spells. So we're playing 3 Subtlety, which is cast using a blue spell, which we have a ton of. We've got 4 Flare of Denial, so if you sack your Ice-Fang Coatl or your Coiling Oracles, your Shardless Agents, free counter spell. We've got 2 Force of Negations, kind of same thing. We pitch a blue card from hand, counter a non-creature, so we've got creature, non-creature, and everything hate. We've got Shardless Agent to find more copies of Birthing Ritual, or at the very least, hit something like Ice-Fang Coatl, Coiling Oracle, and you get a nice little 3 for 1. We've got Endurance for some graveyard hate. We've got Dismember for some creature hate. We play a pretty good suite of lands, so we play 16 just Fetch, Shock, Surveil basics. Then we play 2 Boseiju for some artifact and enchantment hate, Otawara to just bounce permanents, and Sink into Stupor to bounce permanents or bounce spells. In the sideboard, we're playing 4 Consign to Memory and a Harbinger of the Seas to hit things like Eldrazi. Playing Collector Ouphe to hit Affinity, Force of Vigor to hit artifacts and enchantments, Force of Negation for non-creatures, Brazen Borrower to just return non-land permanents to hand mostly, but it can also be cast as a creature to then sack the Birthing Ritual or just as a threat. 3/1 flyer is pretty decent body. Got 2 Engineered Explosives for the go low decks like Affinity and Boros Energy. And then we've got 3 Mystical Disputes for the blue decks in the format like the Mirror or the Blink decks. And yeah, that's the deck. You just try to keep your opponent from playing while you get down on a Abhorrent Oculus and just beat down. Alright, let's hop into some games, see how we do with Wan Shi Tong in the deck. Ho 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 and Merry Christmas, cadets! This week I want you all to comment your favorite black cards to continue growing the art transitions for the video. Let's take a look at those who had commented their favorite blue cards. Taylor Pack's favorite blue card was Tinker. TR Piff's was Murktide and Snapcaster Mage. TNT's Cal's was Cryptic Command. Castform 67 was Delver of Secrets. And AVC MTG was Polymorph. And now they've all been added to the Match 2 transition. If you want your favorite black cards immortalized on the channel, then just comment down below. The last day to comment will be December 13th, where we'll give another color a chance. Merry Christmas, cadets, and let's get back to the video. I think we can do better. Let's mulligan. No green sources. Let's mulligan again. We'll keep this one. Opponent kept their 7. They're on the play. We're on the draw. Temple Garden Noble Hierarch. You've heard of Bolt the Bird. How about Dismember the Hierarch? Gemstone Caverns. Into a Malevolent Rumble. Oh, it's a Heliod deck. Interesting. Just cast Coiling Oracle, draw a Shardless Agent onto the opponent. Slot Pride from the opponent. Go for the Shardless Agent here. And we get a Birthing Ritual anyways. Perfect. Just what we wanted. In step, we sack a Coiling Oracle for an Abhorrent Oculus. All onto the opponent now. Manifest an Ice-Fang. When it goes for the Heliod, it's a pretty annoying creature to deal with, so we'll go ahead and just counter that. Let's go for another Shardless Agent here. Find an Ice-Fang Coatl, we'll cast that. Abhorrent Oculus, not the most exciting. Go ahead and attack for 7. Sack the Ice-Fang for a Wan Shi Tong in case they fetch. Manifest an Oculus. There's another Heliod. And there's an Aerith. Alright, let's just flip the Oculus and then attack for game. Alright, let's see what we've got in the sideboard. Bring in 2 Engineered Explosives, a Brazen Borrower, and a Harbinger, cutting 2 Force of Negation and 2 Wan Shi Tong. Really good hand, we'll keep. Opponent goes for Noble Hierarch. We are just going to Hedge Maze a land into the grave. Opponent goes Guide of Souls, we'll allow it this time. And Esper Sentinel. Yeah, we'll allow it. And Ocelot Pride. I knew we had an EE coming. This would be very different. Let's just go ahead and Subtlety to prevent the opponent from getting too far ahead. Here, I think I just want to go ahead and dismember the Noble Hierarchs. That way we get the maximum amount of value out of our Harbinger this use. Ocelot Pride. Opponent attacks for 2. The Endurance kind of makes me want to change up this hand. Let's go for the Windswept Heath this turn. Flash in the Endurance to hopefully try to kill something. And then we'll go for the Harbinger next turn. Opponent casts Walking Ballista, X equals 1. Endurance won't kill here because of the Walking Ballista and first strike on the Ocelot Pride. Fetch for a Forest and cast the Endurance. The opponent makes a cat and triggers the Guide. Just go ahead and run out the Harbinger and then pass to the opponent. Ooh, Static Prison on the Endurance. I think we're functionally forced to block here. Actually, we're just dead. GG. We're on the play, but no green mana, so we're going to mulligan. This hand's a little bit better. We'll keep. Opponent also mulligan to 6. We just play land pass. Just go ahead and grab a Breeding Pool and dismember that. Alright, let's go for Coiling Oracle. Draw a Harbinger of the Seas, notable. Oh, it does have basic force, though. Game 1, we were seeing a lot less basics. Agatha's Soul Cauldron. See if we can cut our opponent off the white mana. Attack for 1. Opponent had a Plains. And they put Walking Ballista into the graveyard. Here they're going to try to get the Walking Ballista effect. We will go ahead and just Endurance the opponent. Okay, so our Harbinger plan was for naught. In fact, it's probably hurting us more right now. Go for Shardless Agent. Get an Ice-Fang Coatl. We'll draw a Birthing Ritual for next turn. Let's attack with the Harbinger here, because since they've already got their basics, Harbinger's not doing much anyways, and if they trade with the Aerith, all the better for us. Yeah, no blocks, so we got in 2 damage. Opponent just passes it to us. Attack for 1 in the air. Cast the Birthing Ritual. And let's just trade the Coiling Oracle for a Coiling Oracle. Draws another Ice-Fang Coatl. And Agatha's Soul Cauldron. Let's a counter on Aerith. Let's land go from the opponent. Go ahead and flash in this Ice-Fang Coatl. Shardless Agent. We're missing lands. Just attack for 1 in the air again. Ooh, and we will trade this Coiling Oracle for an Abhorrent Oculus. Illusion of Choice. Looks like opponent's flooding out here. 6th land, says go. Let's attack in with our flyers here. Opponent's down to 7. And we'll just trade this Shardless Agent in for a better blocker. Another counter on Aerith. And we'll manifest a Coiling Oracle. Harbinger of the Seas may have done more this match than we know of. It just goes for Noble Hierarch. And land. I'm going to attacks for 5. We're just going to Brazen Borrower that. Petty Theft, rather. Just so they don't gain the life. And then they know that we can attack for game the next turn, so they forfeited there. GG opponent, GG. We're on the play, decent hand, we'll keep. Land go. Go ahead and fetch. We'll take another Birthing Ritual. Play land and onto the opponent. I think we've got the Wan Shi Tong trap up. Yep, they fetch, so we'll fetch and play our Wan Shi Tong. Wan Shi. Elegant Parlor from the opponent. We draw off their search. Sacred Foundry from the opponent. Ooh, we see a Ral. I think we're just supposed to Flare of Denial that. Unfortunate. We'll play the Windswept Heath. Kind of want to leave up Force of Negation, but also want to keep back Abhorrent Oculus. We'll just pass this time. And let's just go ahead and counter that. Counter the Wind Resolve. Here, let's go ahead and cast the Abhorrent Oculus. On to the opponent. We get to hold up Endurance at least. Opponent finds another Ral. And thus starts the chain. Pyretic Ritual. Reckless Impulse. Manamorphose. Reckless Impulse. Plays the Scalding Tarn. Pyretic Ritual. Firebrain Scheme. It goes for the Past in Flames. But gets to flip Ral. Let's do what we can here. I don't know if it'll be enough now. Alright, Graveyard's gotten rid of. The Past in Flame basically blanks. But the ultimate on Ral is going to be a problem. Oh, wow. They hit quite a few things here. Ah, yeah, an opponent's got it here. Alright, here we're going to bring in the Force of Vigors, Force Negation, Brazen Borrower, and Consign Memories, cutting Wan Shi Tong, Harbinger, and Shardless Agent. We've got the Flare Denial. We'll keep. Hopefully it slows them down enough. Land go. Elegant Parlor from the opponent. Alright, we'll play a Boseiju and pass to the opponent. Yeah, let's flash in our Ice-Fang Coatl and then Flare of Denial the Ral. Play land tap, pass to the opponent. Artist Talent. Let's see if we can find another Flare of Denial or Force Negation. Just a Coiling Oracle, so the opponent gets this one. Can still Boseiju it, though. Go for Coiling Oracle, looking for more answers. Ooh, Consign to Memory. Let's just attack with the Ice-Fang. And if opponent attempts to level up the Artist Talent, we'll just Boseiju in response. Ooh, Orm's Chant. Okay, let's go ahead and Boseiju here. You know what, we can hold off, because the Orm's Chant isn't going to stop us from Boseijuing. I think they're probably going to play land after this and then try to level up the Artist Talent. Also don't want to let them keep drawing and discarding, but don't think they're getting away with anything too crazy this turn. Yeah, here they go for the Ruby Medallion. So we might Boseiju the Ruby Medallion instead now. Alright, Boseiju the Ruby Medallion. When it grabs a mountain, they'll have a bunch of mana floating from the Desperate Ritual, but only 2 cards left in hand. Reckless Impulse. Another Reckless Impulse. Cast a Birthing Ritual, attack for 2. And we know we got a Ruby Medallion coming next turn, so we'll just hold up the Consign to Memory for that. Is that Coiling Oracle for Coiling Oracle? Oh, it gets us a Windswept Heath, nice. Alright, let's go ahead and attempt to... Let's Consign and Replicate here, actually. Counter both of them. They level up the Artist Talent. And on to us. I think here I'm just going to Birthing Ritual and hold up the Sink into Stupor. Coiling Oracle for Coiling Oracle. And I guess let's go ahead and Endurance the opponent. I think we probably should have Sink into Stupor before this, but let's go ahead and do it now. They do get to replay it, but I don't think they can level it up and do everything that they're wanting to this turn. Okay, they discard land. And they get a Past in Flames and Mountains. So thank goodness for the Endurance. Plays the Artist Talent again. And levels it up again. And back onto us. Attack for 4. Just... Yeah, we'll Sink into Stupor in their upkeep. Sack the Ice-Fang for an Abhorrent Oculus. Sack the Endurance for an Abhorrent Oculus. And now if we can just keep them from winning this turn, we should win during our next turn. In their draw, let's go ahead and bounce the Artist Talent. It goes for the Artist Talent again. Levels up the Artist Talent. Yeah, we're just trying to starve them on mana. Manamorphose. Ooh, puts a Past in Flames in the grave. Valakut Awakening. Ooh, puts Grape Shot into the graveyard. And draws a fresh hand of 3. Rin's Resolve. So Rin's Resolve and a Ruby Medallion, but I think they're out of mana. Yep, alright, GG. Let's see if we can get them in game 3. Ooh, this one's hard. We've got the Dismember, we've got Flare of Denial. Let's keep it and see what happens. Mulligans to 6, plays Valakut tapped. Land's not exactly what we want to see here. It was a Ruby Medallion instead of the Rel. Yeah, we gambled on it. Ooh, and we found a Boseiju on top. Alright, we'll keep that. Alright, and let's Boseiju in their upkeep. Or in their draw step, rather. Does give them a mountain, though. One downside about Boseiju. Alright, there's the Rel. Let's see if they go for it this turn. Alright, hopefully we're not just dead before it starts. Desperate Ritual. Reckless Impulse. And Firebrain Scheme and Past in Flames. Manamorphose. Firebrain Scheme. Finds them 2 more Rels, so I guess not too impactful there. Oh, an opponent wishes. They Grape Shot. Let's see if they win the flip off a Rel. I think if they win the flip, they win. If they don't, then we're good. Oh, okay. They missed it. I think we're good. We just play land, counter their Past in Flames, and we should be chilling. I mean, we'll have to find stuff eventually, but should hopefully be good. Play out the Breeding Pool, pass to the opponent. Okay, opponent flips here. We're going to Flare of Denial. The opponent might just be able to ping us to death eventually. Or you know what? We do got to worry about the Past in Flames coming back. Okay, Coiling Oracle. Flashes back for 5. If they uptick Rel, it flashes back for 4. Should we play around it? Lead off on Coiling Oracle. Maybe that can give us more information. Okay, let's just hope that they don't have it. We are just going to go for the Birthing Ritual here. Okay, we hit Ice-Fang Coatl. And a Force of Vigor, which I don't think is going to be the most impactful. I guess if Rel gets too close to ultimating, we can just sink into Stupor. Okay, they kill the Ice-Fang Coatl. Ooh, an Artist Talent. And Rel, okay. Now we got a lot of things to deal with. And no creatures to deal with them. Okay, let's just go ahead and dismember the Rel. And we can hold up Flare of Denial, and we'll just go ahead and Force of Vigor in their upkeep. It was a little bad, but we gotta do what we gotta do. Does put us dangerously low, though. Opponent's gonna go for the Past in Flames. Okay, let's sink into Stupor this. I believe it should be exiled no matter what. So it shouldn't go back to hand, it should go to exile. And it does, good. Okay, Ice-Fang Coatl, let's play that out. And we draw a Misty Rainforest. Okay, we find an Abhorrent Oculus, that's good. Go ahead and crack the Misty. Grab a Subtlety. At this point, I'm concerned about the Rel just pinging, so let's just return the Rel to hand. Hopefully that doesn't hurt us. Can we just counter the Rel here? Counter Rel seems counterintuitive, but I think it's probably the right play. Yeah, I think I just want to attack for 2 this turn and flash in the Subtlety during the opponent's instep. Ooh, Rin's Resolve. On some Orm's Chant and Manamorphose. Splash in the Subtlety. Play the Birthing Ritual. Back for 5. Here, I think our best bet is Endurance. And then we get an Abhorrent Oculus. So if opponent doesn't win during their next turn, we should win during ours. That's completely out of our hands now. That goes for the Manamorphose. Valakut Awakening. Oh, they find a Ruby Medallion. And a Manamorphose. Oh goodness, they might have the exact cards they need here. Alright, an opponent did not find what they needed there, so GG opponent, GG. We're on the draw, we'll keep in the blind. Opponent mulligans to 5 though. Elegant Parlor and Grape Shot. Okay, we're playing against Storm again, it looks like. Ruby Medallion. Alright, let's see what the opponent's got. Second Ruby Medallion. I don't think the second one does as much for them. We'll just let it be. And nothing else from opponent, so we'll just go ahead and flash in the Ice-Fang Coatl. Unfortunately, we don't find another land, so let's attack for 1. And let's play... Well, if we find an Abhorrent Oculus, I want to be able to keep Flare Denial up. Let's just go for a Coiling Oracle here. Maybe we can find a land drop. Okay, cool, land drop. Onto the opponent. Okay, we'll just counter whatever they get off the Firebrain Scheme. What goes for Pyretic Ritual? I think we're just going to counter the Ren's Resolve here. Alright, counter Ren's Resolve. Okay, they Ritual again. Oh, and of course their last 2 cards in hand are Ritual, Past in Flames. Oh, we have Endurance. Cool, never mind, we're chill. Alright, make the opponent cry. Okay, we keep a Flare of Denial on top. Just attack for 1. I don't think the opponent can top deck anything that gets them out this turn, so let's just go ahead and play out the Birthing Ritual, and hopefully we can find something good for the Ice-Fang. Literally 0 things. Okay. Opponent finds Sunbaked Canyon and immediately sacks it. Oh, and they try to go for a Rel. Let's Flare of Denial the Rel. Okay, we'll go ahead and Ice-Fang Coatl. Draw a Birthing Ritual. Let's go ahead and actually use our Sink into Stupor here. And cast another Birthing Ritual. And move to our end step. And we find an Oculus. Oculus finds another Oculus, meaning we have a 2-turn clock now. But we aren't going to have anything else for now. Opponent's down to just 1 card in hand. So this card plus their next card's got to be able to win them the game. Oh, opponent wishes. And Price of Freedom? Sure. We'll just grab out a forest here. Play an island. Let's actually just attack out here, because that lets us still hold up the Endurance and Subtlety, and we still get to kill next turn. Okay, Firebrain Scheme. We got Reckless Impulse and Sunbaked Canyon. Manamorphose. Reckless Impulse. And the Pyretic Ritual and Reckless Impulse. Okay. They're doing their thing. They try to Past in Flames. We're just going to say no to that. And opponent concedes it there. Let's see what we've got in the sideboard. Alright, we're going to bring in Force of Vigor, Consign of Memories, Force of Negation, and Brazen Borrower, taking out Wan Shi Tong, Harbinger, and Shardless Agent. Okay, this hand mostly hates on Ruby, but I think we're going to try to go for it. Okay, not a particularly great draw, but we'll go for Misty and Pass to the opponent. Okay, that's a Ren's Resolve. Nothing we can do about that. Oh, but they just hit a couple of lands. Force of Negation's really good. It's going to offset us from being able to cast this Abhorrent Oculus, but I think I want to draw it here. Play a Coiling Oracle. We draw a Flare of Denial onto the opponent. Opponent Ren's Resolve. Well, let's just counter it. I should just use the Consign of Memory here. Firebrain Scheme. Some Reckless Impulse and a Grape Shot, so they can cast the Reckless Impulse next turn. Just play land, attack for 1, pass to them. Ooh, opponent goes for Orm's Chant. Ooh. It's a little scary, but I think we just have to allow it. Opponent would need Mana Reducer, Ritual, then Impulse into something else. So yeah, we'll just allow it. Okay, well, there's the Ruby Medallion for them. And there's the Ritual. And now they Impulse. Now let's just see if they get the full thing. Past in Flames and Rel. They at least get the rail here, and I guess they have the Past in Flames for next turn. Man, that's rough for us. We're going to put this Birthing Ritual in the graveyard. I think I kind of want to look for more lands. That way I can eventually double spell. But I think next turn we're just Flare of Denialing the Past in Flames. Okay, opponent Reckless Impulses first. Yeah, let's go ahead and... Well, let's see what they do with the Row. Okay, they win the flip, but let's go ahead and just cast the Flare of Denial on this. And then now we will... exile this with Consign to Memory. That way they can't even flash it back. Opponent's full on in top deck mode now. And now we get to cast an Abhorrent Oculus. While still having an free counter spell up. And on to the opponent. Manifest the Subtlety. Opponent just gets land here. I think they're going to try to Elegant Parlor a Past into Flames into the graveyard. Which would have been cool for them. Doubt they're doing Blood Moon things, but just in case, let's grab a Snow-Covered Island. Play land, attack with the Manifest token. Alright, grab Coiling Oracle. And actually, let's just go ahead and Flare of Denial this. Alright, an opponent concedes it there. GG, opponent. We're on the draw. We keep our 7. Opponent keeps their 7 as well. Land go. Cervelle and Otawara to the grave. Elegant Parlor. And Guide of Souls. Coiling Oracle. Draw, Birthing Ritual, pass to the opponent. Ragavan. Ooh, and Voice of Victory. Opponent pumps the Ragavan and attacks for like a million. Will not block. Play a Birthing Ritual. Attack for 1 since we're going to sack the Coiling Oracle anyways. And instep we find nothing, so we're probably just going to be dead here. We'll still take the Wan Shi Tong. Season Pyromancer from the opponent. Discards 2 lands. Opponent fetches, triggers Wan Shi Tong. And another Guide of Souls. Think we're borderline forced to block here. Go for Shardless Agent. Cascade into Birthing Ritual. Back for an Abhorrent Oculus. Don't know if it's going to be enough for us. No reason to sack again, so we'll just keep the Abhorrent. I'm going to cast Goblin Bombardment, and we can't respond because of the Voice of Victory. And opponent just has us here. Let's see what we've got in the sideboard. Just going to bring in 2 Engineered Explosives and a Brazen Borrower, cutting 2 Harbinger of the Seas and a Force of Negation. I don't think this hand is going to cut it, so let's mulligan. A little bit better, we'll keep. Gonna need lands eventually, so let's put on top, pass to the opponent. Opponent plays Sacred Foundry untapped, passes to us. We'll just play land and pass to them. And their instep will flash in an Ice-Fang. Ooh, draw Shardless Agent. Just poke in for 1. Cast Shardless Agent. Not sure why. We revealed Coiling Oracle, but it never gave me the opportunity to cast it. Weird. And our Shardless Agent gets removed. Did I miss something? Do y'all know why it wouldn't let me cast Coiling Oracle? Guide of Souls. And Ragavan. Just go ahead and Flare of Denial the Ragavan to keep them from getting any kind of value. Drawn an Abhorrent Oculus, so we'll just pass to the opponent. Let's Force of Negation the Blood Moon. And we take 1 from the Guide of Souls. Cast a Coiling Oracle. Draw another Abhorrent Oculus. Pass to the opponent. Another Blood Moon. Play land and say go to the opponent. Another Guide of Souls. And a Ragavan. Go ahead and jump the Ragavan. A little late for the Flare of Denial. Just cast E on 1. On to the opponent. And Johnny. Flare of Denial the Johnny. Another Johnny. Slow him down just a little bit with a Subtlety. Just go ahead and pop the EE2. Cleared board. Find a Coiling Oracle. Let's cast that. Never mind, I forgot no blue mana. Onto the opponent. Voice of Victory. And Ragavan. Draw Wan Shi Tong, so we'll just pass back to the opponent. Get attacked for a good chunk. Opponent gets the Ragavan. Oh, and they get a Birthing Ritual from us. Yeah, I don't think we're coming back from this game, so we'll just go ahead and concede. GG, opponent. GG. We need another land to make it work, but we'll keep. Got a handful of interaction in the blind. Just lead off land, go. Good, and Ragavan. Oh, I just remembered, Sink into Stupors are lands. Okay, free Birthing Ritual. Go for that. On to the opponent, they're going to get a free hit with their Ragavan. Okay, they hit Flare of Denial. No skin off my teeth. God of Souls. Ooh, fan of Voice of Victory. Okay. Shardless Agent and Ice-Fang Coatl. I'll land off of Ice-Fang Coatl. Move to the end step, see what we can find. Okay, we find an Abhorrent Oculus. We'll take it. Alright, see what the opponent can do about that. Manifest the Shardless Agent. Opponent attacks and pumps the Voice of Victory. It might mean the Abhorrent Oculus is getting Galvanic Discharged, but we're going to block anyways. Or Flaged, rather. Go for another Shardless Agent. Find a Wan Shi Tong. Oh, we're going to have to start getting damage in eventually. Let's attack with a Manifest token. Just grab a Coiling Oracle to draw. Here comes a Johnny. Opponent jumps the Ragavan. We're going to block just to make sure that they don't get value out of the Ragavan. I think we're okay with them just killing the agent here. Go ahead and main phase the Endurance. Sack a Coiling Oracle, get an Abhorrent Oculus again. Manifest a Subtlety. Alright, we'll let them Flage here. Okay, they get rid of the Subtlety. Okay, nothing from the opponent. Turn the Shardless Agent up and we'll just move to our end step. Sack Shardless Agent to draw off Ice-Fang Coatl. Ooh, and manifest an Abhorrent Oculus. Alright, in the opponent's end step, let's go ahead and turn this Manifest token face up. Opponent attempts the Thraben Charm. We're actually just going to Force Negation that, pitch the Sink into Stupor. I'm just going to get an island in case they top deck a Blood Moon. Coiling Oracle. Oh, it gets Wan Shi Tong. Okay. Play Boseiju. Makes a top deck Goblin Bombardment worse for us, but we need to start attacking and doing stuff eventually. Let's attack with both the Abhorrent Oculuses here. Him to 17. And then step, let's grab our last Abhorrent Oculus here. And opponent concedes it there, so let's see what we've got in the sideboard for them. Alright, here we're going to cut Wan Shi Tong and a Harbinger for 2 EE and a Brazen Borrower. And might be a little slow, but we'll keep it. Okay, they lead off Ocelot Pride. Ugh, awful top deck, Abhorrent Oculus. On to the opponent. Here comes in a Johnny. Put a Force of Negation in the grave. Pride triggers. Go ahead and Coiling Oracle. Ooh, draw a Birthing Ritual. It's pretty likely we're just Flare of denying whatever they play this turn. No good blocks for us here. We're just going to have to take it all. Alright, they go for second and Johnny, so this is where we'll Flare of Denial. Keep them from flipping their Johnny. More cats. Go for Shardless Agent here. Get a Coiling Oracle. And we'll just pass it on to the opponent. Oh, Static Prison from the opponent on Shardless Agent. I'd prefer them use it on that than something else. Yeah, we kind of don't want that Ajani to flip, so we'll just have to take it for now. Unfortunately, I think opponent was probably just too fast this game for us. Alright, let's Shardless Agent again. Hit an EE. We'll cast it, actually. Galvanic Discharge on this agent. Alright, we're forced to block here. Down to 1 now. They're putting counters on all their cats. Yeah, unfortunately, we didn't get there. We don't have enough mana to cast Abhorrent Oculus and use the EE, so we're just going to concede there. See if we can get them in the 3rd game. We have an EE. I'll keep. Let's just lead off Hedge Maze. And I think we're looking for some different things here. Alright, Ocelot Pride. Just play land, say go. I think our goal at this point is hope that they play 2 more 1-drops. We Ice-Fang Coatl and then EE during our turn. Okay, there's an Ocelot Pride. Take the hit from Pride. Go ahead and Ice-Fang Coatl. Draw another land. Alright, this turn let's focus on just engineered explosives. I think if they swing with the cat, we're probably just fine with that. We'll attack in the air, because I think keeping this back as an eventual Death Touch blocker is probably going to be a little better. And opponent's Surgical Extraction's a Flare of Denial, which, yeah, we're fine with. 1 less card in their hand. Okay, opponent finds an Arid Mace off top. They Blood Moon, but it's not going to affect us too bad. Go ahead and correct the EE. Alright, let's go for the Shardless Agent here. Do find Birthing Ritual, that's nice at least. We'll play land, let's go ahead and attack for 1. Oh yeah, and we find Abhorrent Oculus. On to the opponent. Take a Shardless Agent here. Okay, here comes an Ajani. There you go. Vanic discharge their own cat here to flip Ajani. Make a 2-1. They'll deal 3 damage somewhere. Okay, they fear the unknown. Oh man, and they do get the Abhorrent Oculus here. Rough. Alright, go for the Ice-Fang Coatl. Okay, yet another land. We'll just see if we can find anything cool off the Birthing Ritual. Harbinger something. The way Harbinger works, doesn't my lands now become islands? Yes. Cool. But here's a Flage from the opponent. Just float our mana. I'm pretty sure they're going to kill the Harbinger here. Okay, if they go to activate a Ajani, what we're going to do here is just bounce the Blood Moon, so that way they can't deal damage anywhere. And here, let's absorb some damage, because I think we're hard casting Endurance next turn anyways. Alright, we're going to take some damage to set up our lands, but go for the Endurance. Hit the opponent's graveyard. Hedge Maze, keep an Abhorrent Oculus on top. Okay, so yeah, let's sack the Endurance, grab the Abhorrent Oculus. Then onto the opponent. Grab the Coiling Oracle here. Oh, opponent's got a Seasoned Pyromancer. Lets them discard their Blood Moon to get an elemental token, which does mean that their Ajani's turn back on for red permanents, and they have enough creatures so they can kill the Abhorrent Oculus. Alright, and here we'll trade with 1 of the tokens. Yeah, I think here we just take the guaranteed Abhorrent, and maybe we just go ahead and bounce the Ajani here. If they can find a way to kill it, then it is what it is, but I think we need to make some kind of action happen here. They've got a lot of answers to everything we're doing. Alright, the Ajani bounced, Abhorrent Oculus played, onto the opponent. We just say no to Birthing Ritual. They run back out the Ajani. Oh, and they have second Ajani to just flip. Okay, yeah, I think opponent just had everything they needed here. And there's just not much we can do about that. Yeah, at this point, I think they just shoot us for enough, probably. Oh, they're taking the rude route. Alright, well. Block what we can, just in case opponent doesn't see it. Maybe we can try to dig ourselves out of this. Oh, I don't think Subtlety is what's going to get us out of it. Oh, cast the Endurance. And we find an Abhorrent Oculus, but I don't think it's going to be enough here. Yeah, it most certainly won't be. Oh well, GG opponent, GG. We'll go ahead and concede it there. Alright everybody, and we are back. 3 and 2. Both of our losses were to Energy, which has never been a great matchup for the deck. So it kind of makes it difficult to see where we place it. The main thing we were testing for was whether to see Wan Shi Tong was good in the deck or not. We saw it a handful of times. Honestly, it underperformed in the deck. There was one time in the late game where I wanted to just flash it in for like X equals 4, draw a couple cards, have this big threat. But most of the time we would get it off something like Birthing Ritual or something like that. We wouldn't draw a card off of it, and it did just kind of feel a little subpar in those circumstances. It might just require some more testing, but I wasn't completely sold on Wan Shi Tong in the deck. If you've played this deck though, and you've played it with Wan Shi Tong, let me know what you think. But yeah, that's going to be it for today. Thank you all for watching. Like, subscribe, and comment what deck you want to see me play next, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace out.